What's up, dudes? Chooch back with another one, and today we're looking at this right here. This is the most expensive electric unicycle ever made. Extremebull Commander. Let's check this thing out and take it for a ride. Alright, dude, so this wheel right here is very unique in the fact that it is the wheel with the most watt hours of any wheel ever created. And this wheel has 3,600 watt hours in it, which means you can go about 100 miles of hard riding on this thing. Like, literally as hard as you want, just peeling out at top speed on this thing. Because there's a high torque version of this wheel, and then there's a high speed version of this wheel. With the high speed version of this wheel, you can get about 50 miles an hour. And that's ballpark range. And I can't be sure of that because I have the high torque version right here. And so the benefit of the high torque version is going to be whenever you're really coming out of your corners and accelerating hard. The whole thing with torque, guys, is if you lean really, really hard into your acceleration is when you notice the torque. And so torque can kind of be transmitted to acceleration, if you really want to call it that. And even for like a lightweight rider like me, this wheel, just from the time you lean forward on it from a dead stop to the time it hits that 40-mile-an-hour mark, because this wheel will go up to about, I'd say 38, 39 before you start getting the mega beeps on it, where it starts beep, 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 and that's just with the high torque version. So this wheel right here is going to be perfect for the guys that want to go out on an excursion, an all-day excursion where you're adventure riding and you're going through the mountains. You're going to be going off-road trails. You're going to be hitting unique little jumps and everything in between, and gravel roads, dirt paths, mountain roads, everything like that, where you're going to be going a long way doing a mega adventure. Even the guys that might want to do something where you go like a cross country ride or something like that, where you really need as much range as possible and then still have a really controllable, good weighted wheel. And by good weighted, as soon as I got on this thing, guys, so I met up with Jimmy Chang the other day. We went and did a Chooch and Chang episode, went and cruised around a little bit. And as soon as I got on this wheel, I got on this wheel after riding the Veteran Abrams. So they had a Veteran Abrams out there, and I got on that thing and cruised around on it for a minute. I got right off the Veteran Abrams, and then I got on this. And I was just like, holy cow. This thing feels so much better than the Veteran Abrams. Like, this thing feels good, dude. Compared to the Abrams, and any other, this wheel feels good compared to any other wheel, even with 3,600 watt hours of battery in it. So they managed to balance this wheel and make it really nimble to where I can spin around on this wheel. I can ride backwards on it. Bunny hopping it doesn't feel like a big deal. And then cornering on it is just like, this thing carves so good and corners so well. Like the high speed version of this thing, like if you're a city rider that just wants to go high speed everywhere and go extremely long ranges, this is what you want to get, man, all day. Like, it's expensive. Yeah, this wheel is expensive. But if you want to ride the farthest range you can on electric unicycles and do it as, ride far and fast as you possibly can, this is the wheel that does it. And with the high torque version, if you want to ride an adventure ride where you're doing on-road, off-road, mountains, everything in between, and still ride in that 40-mile-an-hour range and have the high torque capabilities, like the extreme high torque capabilities, this will do it. And the torque on this thing is gnarly. And that's one reason why the high torque is going to be better to race. The only time you really need high speed on the racetrack is whenever you're on the back stretch. And the time you're on the back stretch is severely limited to the rest of the track. So wheels like the Veteran Sherman just don't handle like this. This thing handles way better than the Veteran Sherman does. and I don't know why it is. It's just the weight on it, and I think that's one thing that not a lot of people look at, especially when they're buying electric unicycles or even think about, is just the way it feels. And um, you can't. I mean, there's no way you can see that through a video. There's no way you can actually put your feet on this thing and take it for a spin through a video. And I know that, but if you've ridden a EXN before and you've ridden an MCM5 before, this feels like a mixture of the two. Like it really handles like a smaller wheel than the EXN. I'm not sure why. Even though it's heavier and has more watt hours in it, it seriously handles a little bit better than the EXN. I think it's, I seriously don't know why. I think it's like the uniformity of everything on it and just the way where the batteries are placed around the fulcrum point on this thing. As soon as I got on it, I was just like, I looked at Jimmy, I was like, dude, this thing feels nice. Like riding this wheel feels good, bro. So I love it so far. Loving this wheel. 3,600 watt hours, bro. And if you take it easy, like if you just were casual riding like 20 miles an hour, you can go 130 plus miles on this wheel. And like if you're just cruising around doing food deliveries and stuff, and range is what you need, this thing will go 130 miles just cruising easy. So definitely take that into account. And I got the Grizzly pads on here. I'm loving these. I set these up in a completely different way than they're supposed to be set up. I'm liking it. I literally have this laid back farther so it goes all the way against your foot, and every time you lean forward you get this like flex effect. I'm loving it. And then I flipped over the rear brake of the Grizzly pads, and this one's supposed to go on this side, but I took it and put it on this side, and I just love the whole way this thing works and the brake and everything feels. It just feels good the way I have those set up. So if you want to copy the way I have my Grizzly pads set up, that is what I like so far. And so this wheel also has a 2,800 watt motor in it as well. And that's the same watt motor as the EXN. And so, I said it rides just sort of like the EXN. And I noticed the same kind of power band as the EXN. And so essentially it's a longer range EXN that has the weighting really set up right on it. And it just feels good. That's the best way I can explain this thing so far. So if you want an EXN with longer range, this is it, basically, is the way I can describe it. My hands are freezing, bro, these gloves. I don't have any glove liners on.